Unfortunately, many of the challenges of 2020 will no doubt carry into this new year. But as we reflect on these challenges, the magnitude of what this past year presented us, and the work we did together to prepare, adapt, and respond, let us also remember to grant ourselves grace, to permit ourselves perspective, to recognize our own resilience. Yes, our reverence and our patience and our tolerance have been tested by times and by each other. Yes, sometimes doing what's best and what is right lost out to elected officials who chose politics and political interest instead. Yes, there were moments where we could have offered a greater empathy, more humility, and better community than what we gave to those who, too, were carrying the burden of the last year. But despite all of this, we also managed to find the strength in the struggles we shared. We found faith in the kindness of strangers and who brought food and groceries to those who couldn't leave their homes, packing meals for kids so that they wouldn't go hungry, even if they weren't in school, sewing and donating masks for others who couldn't afford their own. We found resolve in the voices of thousands, marching and echoing the call and repeat of generations in demand of the equity and justice we promised and have not yet delivered. We found perseverance in our farmers, growers, and farm workers and producers who kept working to make sure we kept food on our table. In our Main Street businesses and restaurants who reimagined and retooled to keep customers and their communities safe. In the men and women of our Wisconsin National Guard who have heeded the call to serve time and again, from our statewide testing to working the polls during what has been the longest Guard activation in our history. We found courage in the hospital rooms and hallways, and the doctors and nurses and healthcare workers who've braced themselves on the way to work and walked through the door anyway, who've comforted our loved ones when we couldn't, who even today have never stopped showing up for us. This past year asked a lot of us, and we've asked a lot of one another. But when we did, we found that the strength of our state is in what we're willing to face together, what we're willing to do for each other, especially when our neighbors need us the most.